serve Krishna. So here, before the rain, some breeze is coming. That breeze is also cooling, very cooling in nature. Like in Tirupati, we have experienced, sometimes it is very scorching, hot sun is there. But when the breeze is coming and then rain comes, so breeze cools down and then rain cools down further. So this breeze is also very cooling. So what is the heat? The heat is not about the summer heat. The summer heat is like Tirupati is very hot place. There is also in California or I think Las Vegas. There is also Death Valley, very hot. So some places on the earth become very hot. Also inside the ocean there is one fire called ocean fire, Badavanal. It is also very hot. It is called Auro fire. It is created by one great sage, Urva Rishi. Aurvas Tomat Katrope Katham Durvaleno Rasami Tapu Pravda Hari Viharaja Sayate Tanna Jani Nishkranta Chet Bhavati Hridayadasya Dhumachatapi Brahmandanam Sagikulamati Jvalaya Jajvaliti. So it means that the mood of separation in the heart of Radharani is very hot, hotter than the fire inside the ocean. So like that, the living entity is also suffering. Our suffering is different, Radharani's suffering is different. Radharani is suffering due to the separation of Krishna, and we are suffering due to the desire for sense objects. We are hankering for the sense objects. And Radharani and eternal associates are hankering for Krishna's association. That's the difference. So as long as there are two desires, the desire for sense gratification and the desire for liberation, as long as these two desires are in the heart of the sadhaka, he cannot be happy. He will feel the intense pain. So, Bhukti Mukti Spraha Yavat Pishachi Rudhi Vartate Tavat Bhakti Sukha Satra Katam Abhyudaya Bhavat Shri Krishna Charanam Bhoja Seva Nivritta Chittasam Isham Mokshaya Bhaktanam Na Kadachi Spraha Bhavat. As long as there is a desire for sense gratification and the desire for liberation, then the bliss of bhakti cannot enter the heart. So, Mahaprabhu's mercy is like the rain clouds. But these rain clouds don't have to shower the rain. Even before the rain clouds begin to shower the rain, the breeze itself will remove your three kleshas, the Adidaivik, Adhyatmik, Adibhautik kleshas. Adidaivik means the kleshas that are caused by the demigods. Adhyatmik means our mental and bodily stress and distresses. And also, Adibhautik kleshas means the other living entities are giving us some hardships. So all these kleshas will go away even before the actual rain begins to shower. Simply the breeze will actually remove the suffering. So you can see how great is Mahaprabhu's mercy. So you see that how glorious is the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now this is Chaitanya Chandramrut by Prabhupada Saraswati Pad. Very beautiful verse. Na yogo na dhyanam na cha chapas tapas tyaga niyamo na vedana chara kvanuvata निषिद्धाध्युपरति अकस्मात् चैतन्य अवतरति दया सार हृदये कुमार्थानां मौलिं परमह्यमुदां रुन्धति जनान्. Those people who do not have even one iota of a connection with yoga, meditation, dhyan, and the uttering of mantra, japa, and penance, tapa. Actually, there is a mistake there. They say tapa, but penance means tapa. So, renunciation, tyaga, adherence to codes of conduct, niyama, recitation of the Vedas, proper behavior, sadachara, and who, alas, do not even desist from forbidden sinful actions of today, due to the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose heart is full of the essence of compassion, clapping their hands together and plundering the crust jewel of all goals of life, Mahaprem, which Brahma and Shiva and Narad others ardently seek. So it means that absolutely these people were not austere. And you can see, like the example is given in America, the hippies, the Chinese. I don't think the hippies were having any cleanliness, hygiene, sense of what is should be touched, what should not be touched. For example, when the American devotees came to India, they entered the temple of Chaitanya Caritamtra, so the Bhakti-Vidanta Madhav Maharaj temple. And they all went with shoes inside. So Bhakti-Vidanta Madhav Maharaj told them, hey, no shoes allowed. You cannot wear shoes in the feet when you enter the temple. All the devotees said, okay, no problem. They removed their shoes and put them on their shoulder, tying their strings and put them on shoulder, and they wanted to enter the temple. Then Bhakti-Vidanta Madhav Maharaj said, no, 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 no. This is not what you do. You keep the shoes outside. Don't carry them on the shoulder. Don't not even the feet. Shoes are dirty. So they didn't know the achar. But they were recipient of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy through the agency of His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj. And that's why, although they were not very much expert in perfect achar, perfect behavioral conduct, still they were become ecstatical, they were able to chant and hear. This is the power of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There was one devotee, he was told, they told the devotees, hey, you have to put tilak. Tilak is a must. Don't be without tilak. So that devotee had Gopi Chandan. He took the Gopi Chandan from his bag and he took in his hand. He had no water bottle with him, so he simply spat in the hand and he began to rub it. And then he wanted to put the tilak with that. He didn't know that spit is impure. That was their level of understanding. But you see that the first generation devotees were ignorant, but the second generation devotees in America are much better. Third generation devotees will be even better. Understand? So achar will improve gradually. But Mahaprabhu doesn't see achar. Vyadasya acharanam. Like I quoted that verse, Vyadasya acharanam dhruvasya chavayo vidya gajendrasya. Upjaya kimo narupam adhikam kim tas sudamno dhanam. Vamshako vidrasya yadav patir. Ugrasya kim purusham. Bhaktya tushyati kevalam vichagunair. Bhakti priyo madhava. That the devotees, they do not, the Bhagavan doesn't see the behavior of the devotee. His cleanliness, his beauty, his age, whether he's too young or too old, or whether he's strong or very weak. He doesn't see his scholarship, erudition, degrees, learning, higher education. All these are not prerequisites for bhakti. The only prerequisite for bhakti is sincerity of the devotee and his association with the sadhu. Understand? So many times, many devotees we have seen that they reject the association of sadhus and they want to do austerities. So they said, we want to do austerities. Actually, they don't understand that if they engage in Nama Sankirtan, as a result of Nama Sankirtan, they have darshan of Bhagavan. And as a result of darshan of Bhagavan, what punya comes, as a result of darshan of Bhagavan, the one gets the association of sadhu. Even Dhruva Maharaj, after receiving the audience of Bhagavan, asked him for sadhu sangha. So, association, like some people are very much into austerity. They want to do everyday Giraj Parikrama or South India Parikrama. Narmada Parikrama also they do. But what is greater? Hearing Harikatha from a Rasik Vaishnava like our Guru Maharaj, Shripa Dandi Maharaj, or to go on a soul long Narmada Parikrama or entire Giraj Parikrama. If there is an opportunity to hear Harikatha from Guru Maharaj or senior Vaishnava, then we should first try to hear Harikatha. Because moods will enter better in the heart if we hear Harikatha. This is very, very important. So, Nama Sankirtan will lead to the darshan of Bhagwan, and darshan of Bhagwan will lead to Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha is so glorious. Understand? So here, Prabhupada Saraswati Pad is telling that even if person's who are devoid of renunciation and sadachar. For example, Mahaprabhu's mercy was so great that once there was a drunkard and he was a sannyasi, but he was they call him Dari sannyasi in Bengali. Dari sannyasi means an impostor sannyasi, means he was wearing the saffron clothes of a sannyasi, but he had kept a wife actually. Means he was married. We call him in English mistress, right? There was a joke actually. They were saying that the first year the wife is miss, but then rest of the life she just stress. When devotee forwarded a WhatsApp message, wife is first year miss MISS, but rest of the life she just stress. So she miss stress. Anyways, so that sannyasi had kept a wife, and then Nityananda Prabhu and Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Gauranga, both of them stayed in his house. The night time he asked Nityananda Prabhu that ask Gauranga, Sri Gauranga, if he wants some Ananda. Then Gauranga didn't understand, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't understand what is Ananda. He asked Nityananda Prabhu, what is he talking about? What type of Ananda is talking about? Bliss. Oh, he's talking about liquor, he said. He's talking about liquor. So then Mahaprabhu ran away from there. Nityananda Prabhu jumped in the Ganga and swam across. So we don't want his association. But nevertheless, he was a recipient of Mahaprabhu's mercy because Mahaprabhu ended up staying in his house one night with Nityananda Prabhu. So Mahaprabhu is Patita Pavan. He is a deliverer of the fallen souls. But he is not Kapati Pavan. Kapati means those who are duplicitous, cheaters, those who especially harm other Vaishnavas. Such persons Mahaprabhu will never show them mercy. But if he is fallen, then Mahaprabhu is still very, very kind. Actually, Mahaprabhu's mercy means it is the heart of Radharani. Understand? It is actually Radharani's mercy. He is very, very merciful. Not just merciful, but very, very merciful. Why? Because he has accepted the sentiments of Radharani. Understand? So you can see that he was very, very compassionate. Last few days there were so many festivals. Like on 6th we celebrated the Raghunath Das Goswami, Vishnu Thakur, Vishnu Priya, Raghunandan Thakur, and also Raghunath Das Goswami. So many Pundrik Vidyanidhi, their appearance day and disappearance day or appearance day, mainly appearance day I think. So how great personalities, Vasanta Panchami was such an auspicious day. And I think that very day, maybe Shri Bhakti Damodar Maharaj from Chaitanya Math disappeared. He was 99-year-old personality, great personality. He was South Indian and he was living in Kabul, where Rai Ramanand and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they had conversation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked many questions to Rai Ramanand and Rai Ramanand answered them to the best of his ability. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only inspired these answers in the heart of Rai Ramananda. So you can see here that Prabhupada Saraswati Pad in this Chaitanya Chandramrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is compared to the moon and is showering the nectar. Moon is actually showering the nectar. Moon is actually very cold. You understand? Once Ravana, in Ramayana I was reading that Ravana went to the moon. And when he went to the moon, due to the cooling rays of the moon, Ravan just fainted. His soldiers also fainted. They ran away actually. It was too cold. Moon is very, very cold. According to Bhagavatam, the sun is about 1 lakh yojanas, 100,000 yojanas. 1 yojana is 8 miles away from the surface of the earth. And then 100,000 yojanas above the sun is the moon. So moon is much farther. But moon ray is cooling in nature. And the sun rays are hot in the nature. So many times the modern science says that moon is only reflecting the rays of the sun. Moon is only a reflector. Moon doesn't have its own light. But Sripad Dandi Maharaj says that if you take a magnifying glass and if you keep it in the sunlight with proper angle and proper focal length, then it might burn a piece of wood or even piece of paper. But moonshine cannot be used to burn paper or anything. how much you try to concentrate using a magnifying glass or lens. So moon and sun, they are essentially of different nature. Moon is cooling in nature and the sun is heating in nature. So Mahaprabhu is compared to the Chandra. Sindhu Bindu Veda Chandra Shaka Kumbha Purnima. Sindhu Bindu Veda Chandra Shaka Kumbha Purnima. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, when he appeared, Sindhu means seven. Sindhu means the ocean. There are 7 oceans in the world. So digit 7 in Sanskrit is called Sindhu. 7 oceans. So 7 is called Sindhu. Bindu means 0. Veda, there are 4 Vedas. Rigveda, Samveda, Yajurveda, Atharvaveda. So the digit 4 is represented by the Sanskrit name Veda. Veda means 4. Understand? Veda Chandra. There is only one moon in the sky. So 1407 Shakabda means the great king Shalivahan, from his coronation day, the counting of the years begin. So new almanac. So that is 1407 Shakabda. Mahaprabhu was born. Understand? Sindhu Bindu Veda Chandra Shaka Kumbha Purnima Sandha Chandra Koparaga Jata Gaura Chandrama. Means the Rahu planet, he becomes angry with the moon because Rahu was drinking the nectar and the sun and the moon had pointed out to Mohini Devi that this Rahu is drinking. So that's why Rahu takes revenge on sun and the moon every year. And he devours them and then later on he releases them. So at the time of lunar eclipse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this world. Sindhu Bindu Veda Chandra Shaka Kumbha Purnima Sandra Chandra Koparaga Jata Gaura Chandrama Snana Dana Krishna Nama Sanga Tatparat Param Prema Dhama Deva Meva Naumi Gaura Sundaram Prema Dhama Deva Meva Naumi Gaura Sundaram. So that time people are very scared because at the time of lunar eclipse, the sun, moon and the earth come so close to each other that they might crash against each other and everything may be finished. So in order to protect the world from this eventuality of crash, a very big crash, the people give charity, they chant the name of Krishna, they pray. Even the staunch atheist and even smarta brahmanas, they also pray to Krishna. Please, don't this happen, there shouldn't be any crash. Understand? So people were chanting the name of Krishna and that is when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is compared to the moon, but he's a spotless moon. The moon has spots, but Mahaprabhu has no spots. And Mahaprabhu is very beautiful. And the moon may be devoured by the Rahu at the time of eclipse, but the Mahaprabhu is never devoured by any Rahu. Understand? So his beauty is unshaken and not marred by any Rahu. And the moon undergoes diminution. Understand? I had told previously that moon showed more affection to one wife, Rohini. As a result, his father-in-law Daksha had cursed him that he will eventually disappear. But due to the mercy of Lord Shiva, he disappears and then again reappears. So Lord Shiva saved his life. But the moon may undergo diminution and again rise, increase in size. So decrease and increase in size, but Mahaprabhu remains constant. And Mahaprabhu is millions and millions of times more luminous, bright and soothing than the moon in the sky. So Mahaprabhu is also compared to the moon. Namo Chaitanya Chandraya. Charu Chandra Vatamsi. Namo Chaitanya Chandraya. Mahaprabhu is called Chaitanya Chandra. Chaitanya Chandra Amarut Kubudam Vikashya. Oh Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my heart is compared to the night lily. So night lily will bloom. Kumuda means Sanskrit. Kumuda means night lily. And Kamala means the lotus that blooms in the daytime. Understand? So Chaitanya Chandra Amarut Kumudam Vikashya Ruddham Vidhenija Chintana Bhrungarangi. Let me think about your sweet pastimes. Chaitanya Chandra Amarut Kumudam Vikashya Ruddham Vidhenija Chintana Bhrungarangi Kincha Paradati Vidam Niviram Vidhuja. So what is our heart? His heart is full of darkness of aparas, offenses. What is the main cause of offense actually? The main cause of offense is Arche Vishnu Shiladhir. To think that a deity is stone This is one of the biggest offense. Arche Vishnu Shilati. Guru Shu Naramati. To regard the spiritual master as an ordinary human being is also one big offense. Vaishnava Jati Buddhi. To regard a Vaishnava to belong to certain caste, creed, religion, race or country is also an offense. Vaishnavas are Vaishnavas. They don't belong to any country or culture or class or gender. They are beyond all of that. Vaishnava Jati Buddhi. Vishnura Vaishnavanam Kalimalamadhane Pada Tirthe Amba Buddhi. To regard the Charanamrut of Radha Krishna or Charanamrut of Shaligram Shila or Charanamrut of any Vaishnava to be ordinary water, this is also a very big offense. Understand? So, we should not think that Charanamrut is ordinary water. Understand? So, Vishnu Namni Sakala Kalushay Shabda Samanya Buddhi. And to regard the name of Vishnu or Krishna or Ram or Narayan to be an ordinary sound vibration, this is also an offense. Understand? Actually, if you chant the name of Krishna, whether you are sneezing, whether you are falling off a ladder, whether you are sleeping, whether you are any condition, you should chant the name of Vishnu. Understand? And then all your sins will vanish. So, but to think that the name of Vishnu or the names of the devotees of Vishnu are ordinary sound vibration, this is actually wrong conception. They are not ordinary sound vibration. That is actually Shabda Brahma. Understand? So, what to speak of Vishnu's names, his devotees' name is also very glorious. For example, if you utter the name of Yudhishthira Maharaj, then Dharma Vivardati Yudhishthira Kirtani. If you glorify Yudhishthira Maharaj, your religious conduct will improve. And Papa Vinashyati Rukodara Kirtanena. When you say Bhim, understand, Bhim, you glorify Bhima, the younger brother of Yudhishthira Maharaj, then all your sins will vanish. Understand? In India, there was one great political leader, Sri Bhimrao Ambedkar, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. So many of his followers call out Jai Bhim, Jai Bhim. So when they call me, they see me and they say Jai Bhim, because they want to glorify that great leader. Then I also say loudly Jai Bhim, because Papa Pranashanti Vrukodara Kirtane. Vrukodar means Vruka. In our stomach there is one fire that is like called Vaishwanara fire. It is like size of a hair, very small fire. And still we feel so hungry sometimes. What to speak of Bhima, his fire in his digestive tract was size of a thumb. That's called Vruka Agni. That's why it's called Vruka Udara. The fire, Udara means stomach. The Vruka fire was burning in his stomach. So, if you utter the name of Bhima, all sins will vanish. Shatru Vinashanti Dhananjaya Kirtanina. If you say the name of Arjuna, Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya means one who is the winner of the wealth. Arjuna won a lot of wealth for Yudhishthira Maharaj. It's called Dhananjaya. Then by uttering the name of Arjuna, all your enemies will go away. And main enemies are actually lust and anger. And Roga Vinashanti Madri Putra Kirtanena. The son of Madri, two sons, who were incarnation of Ashwini Kumar, Nakul and Sahadev. If you utter their name, all your disease will go away. So it means that our only goal should be to utter the names of Krishna and his devotees, and especially in Vrindavan. Understand? Especially devotees in Vrindavan, we should also utter their names. So, but they are not ordinary sound vibration. They are Shabda Brahma. The names of devotees and Bhagwan are Shabda Brahma. Understand? So here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy has been. So here it is told that do not even desist from forbidden sinful actions. Are today, due to the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose heart is full of the essence of compassion, clapping their hands together and plundering the crushed jewel of all goals of life, Mahaprem, which Brahma, Shiva and Narad and others ardently seek. Mahaprabhu not only bestowed the prema on the devotees, he made the devotees also the distributors. Like many times in India, there are distributors like Oppo and Vivo and some companies, Samsung. There are importers and then manufacturers, and then they are distributors, sub-distributors, like that. So Mahaprabhu not only bestowed prema on the living entities, fallen living entities, but also made them his own distributors, sub-distributors, so that they could also distribute that prema to others. Understand? So, for example, when ISKCON began, many devotees joined Krishna consciousness movement, and they were chanting on the streets, in subways, in very cold. They were doing every day 8-hour Nagar Kirtan. Very freezing cold of, this Chicago is called windy city. Wind chill is like minus 30 degrees. But devotees were still doing 8 hours Kirtan, and you cannot wear glove when you are hitting Mridanga. It will not sound at all. So in such cold, their hands used to freeze while playing the Mridanga. And then some devotees were stationed inside the subway train, metro train, subway train, and they had to bear the cold weather and used to do 8-hour Kirtan. Subway is just like a small hole, like a mouse, rat's hole or mouse hole, in the underground. And they told Swami Maharaj, it's very hard to do Kirtan for such a long hours and to distribute books. Then he said, I never told you Bhakti is easy. Understand? So Bhakti is very difficult process. Actually, Bhakti can be very easy, but also Bhakti is very, very difficult process too, because it requires utter surrender to lotus feet of the Guru and Vaishnavas. Understand? And that's why the sacrifice of these devotees, this movement has spread everywhere. Devotees did so much sacrifice. Many devotees after that, sannyasis also, they got married, they fell down because no higher association was available. But Gurudev told that whatever work they did was not a waste. It's still so many people become devotees due to their sacrifice. They used to take the books, distribute at the airport. 15, 16-year-old teenage girls like Shamrani Gidi, Vrindavan Vilasini Gidi, they used to go to the airports, distribute books. So Gurudev also wants all of us to also try to distribute books. They should not stay in cold storage. We should distribute this mercy. So if I speak Harikatha, 1 hour later this Harikatha will become quiet and vanish in the air. But if I give someone a book of Gurudev, then that book will stay for eternity. Understand? So books are recorded Kirtan. They are also very important to distribute books. So here, in extreme jubilation, the revered and worshipful author describes the third awe-inspiring mighty influence of the cloud bank of Chaitanya's mercy, Vishwapa Mullasini. During a downpour in the rainy season, a row of dense clouds fills the rivers with profuse rain, causing them to swell with big currents. Those rivers submerge both their banks with the flooding waters and rush forth with tremendous power to meet the ocean. Likewise, at the time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's descent, the shower of the great Madhura Kadambini of his mercy rained upon the entire universe to the performance of Sri Krishna Nam Sankirtan. Thus, within the universe, the river-like devotees were flooded with prema, causing intense waves of sattvic and vyabhichari ecstasies to arise within them. Everyone throughout the universe was carried away by this sort of prema, swept along with great force in the mighty rapids toward the ocean of completely unbreakable rasa, the ocean of Sri Krishna prema. So here, when the rain showers, what happens? The rivers have experienced flood. Like many times I have seen Jamuna river sometimes. It floods like anything. I have seen in my childhood, in my city where I was brought up, Morna river, I have seen the flood. The water used to enter the houses on the bank of that river. Understand? So, very, very dangerous floods. Understand? So here, when the Mahaprabhu's mercy showers, Mahaprabhu is compared to the cloud bank. And when this mercy showers, then the devotees who are compared to the river, they increase in number. And finally, these rivers, ultimately all the rivers, their husband is the ocean. Understand? All the rivers, their husband is the ocean. So the river-like devotees finally enter into Mahaprema of Krishna. Now, why devotees experience so much prema and the flood of love? It is due to the Sankirtan. Understand? This Nagar Kirtan, Mahanagar Kirtan, Harinam Sankirtan is so important. it is very, very important to do Nagar Kirtan. All the devotees from different sanghas, they should join in Nagar Kirtan because there should be unity. Like I remember that when I was in America in 42nd Street, we all used to do Nagar Kirtan and devotees from all sanghas, means 25 First Avenue, the temple that Dandi Maharaj built, from the devotees from there used to come, ISKCON devotees, Gaudiya Math devotees, all devotees used to come, even those who are not so devoted, but who like Kirtan, they also used to come. And we used to have a grand Kirtan on 42nd Avenue. Understand? So this Kirtan is very, very important. Tukaram Maharaj also has said, Kirtana Sangha Hoya Anga Hari Rupa. By doing Kirtan, the whole body becomes transcendentalized. Understand? A lot of people, they are not so fortunate to practice Krishna consciousness. But when they hear the Kirtan, the sounds of Kirtan enter their ears, then they are purified. So here devotees are compared to the river and Krishna Prem is compared to the ocean. So the most munificent Sachidananda Shri Gaurari and his dearmost companions bestowed prema, nay, not bestowed, recklessly distributed prema, such that there was a mighty flood. So here it is told that Mahaprabhu distribution means there is some distribution means with some type of restriction is there. Understand? Like one time there was Gaura Purnima Utsav was going on, and one devotee was distributing halwa. They make halwa from something like jaggery and different types of, like for example some panifal, some halwa which is allowed on Ekadashi day or appearance day of Mahaprabhu, some special type of halwa. It is not made from any wheat or rava, but it is actually non-grain halwa is made, and that halwa was made from very good quality ghee and jaggery. So obviously the Bengalis who had come to attend the festival of Mahaprabhu's appearance, they were very happily again and again standing in the queue and taking the halwa in a plate. So one Bengali person had come for the third time to take halwa, prasad. So then one brahmachari noticed him, third time standing in the queue. And he said, "Hey, get out of the queue. You are taking for the third time. This halwa prasad is only once you can take, not 3 times, 4 times." So Srila Bhakti-Siddhanta Prabhupada asked that brahmachari, "Hey, what are you distributing? Are you distributing halwa or are you distributing prasad?" The brahmachari was speechless. He couldn't answer. Actually, what Prabhupada was trying to tell him that if you are trying to distribute halwa, then it should be limited. Means only one serving for one person. But if you are distributing prasad, then prasad should be unlimited. I mean, 3 servings, 4 servings, 5 servings, they can eat up to neck. Understand? Prasad, there cannot be any limitation on the prasad. So, there was another person who used to come and attend Bagh Bazaar Gaudiya Math in Kolkata at the time of Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. And he used to bring his entire neighborhood, his brothers, sisters, uncles, neighbors, cousins, their cousins. So he used to pay maybe 1 rupee donation to the mutt, but he used to bring like at least 40, 50 relatives and friends and acquaintances and office mates and everyone for feast. So one brahmachari once, chastised him. "Hey, what are you doing? You give only 1 rupee donation and in return you are taking prasad for 50 people. You bring 50 people for prasadam. If you want to bring so many guests for feast, Sunday love feast, then you should give bigger donation." Something like this brahmachari told. Then Prabhupada came to know about this, and Prabhupada told that brahmachari that, "Listen, it is not as bad to give very less donation and take more prasad. Means bring more guests. That is not as bad. But not to take prasad at all is very, very bad." Understand? Means whether you give less donation or more donation, doesn't matter. Take prasad. Even if you give no donation, still you should take prasad. Because prasad means mercy. It is the Adharamrut of Krishna. So it will bring out the service propensity in your heart. So many people have changed. Like Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Maharaj used to tell that you cannot change New York by anything. Not by philosophy or book distribution. You can change the New York only through prasadam distribution. Why? because they are so much covered by Maya that only Prasad has that causeless mercy that can uncover their Swarupa. Understand? So many devotees, they used to just change by Prasad. Even I changed by Prasad. I used to go to ISKCON temple and I used to, Puja used to give me very nice Mahaprasad made of pure ghee. This deity of Radha Govinda in New York, actually they are the deities of Gayatri Devi, one queen from Rajasthan. She had gifted this deity of Radha Govinda, Rajasthan king. She was very beautiful. She was actually a model, Gayatri Devi. So she had bestowed that as a gift to Prabhupada. So Bhakti-Vidanta Swami Maharaj brought those deities to New York and they are now in Art Scheme Street. So I used to get their Mahaprasad and I used to use the microwave. Actually, microwave is not good for health because it is a gigahertz radiation, causes intense friction in the atoms, changing the molecular structure of the food and making that food carcinogenic, means like causing cancer. But that time I didn't know, so I used to put the Mahaprasad I brought from the temple and used to heat it up in microwave and very beautiful fragrances to come. My all my colleagues, they used to say, "Hey, what have you brought? What is this delicious food?" Understand? So this prasadam is mercy. So Mahaprabhu is distributing mercy, not distributing. His followers are not distributing, but they are plundering the mercy. Like Gurudev used to say, "Hey, I have brought so many diamonds from India. If you want, you can take them. Otherwise, I'll take them back to India." Understand? If I don't find any qualified recipient, I will just take them back to India. Otherwise, I want to distribute free of charge these diamonds. So many Siddhantas. Understand? So here, here it shows that in that flood, those who were worthy recipients and those who were not, both men and women, children and youth, gentlemen and rogues, the lame and the crippled and the blind, were all drowned. Even the ferocious animals in the forest, as well as the Mayavadis, adherents of the path of fruitive action, false logicians, blasphemers and hypocrites, who resemble tigers, lions and bears and so forth, could not remain unaffected. Jada Andha Atura Udhipar, even those who are lame, blind, they got Krishna Prem. Even the animals in the Jharkhand forest like deer, elephants, tigers, tigresses, they all got Krishna Prem. But there are some people who are Mayavadis, they are actually offenders. Like Mahaprabhu showed mercy to Jagai Madai. Jagai Madai were sinful but not offenders. Why? Because they were always drunk and foul smell from their mouth and their lack of hygiene and cleanliness. The Vaishnavas used to keep away from them. So they never got a chance to offend any Vaishnava. So therefore they were not offensive. They were only sinful. Mahaprabhu delivered them. But Mahaprabhu showed more mercy to even Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a staunch Mayavadi. He was Brahaspati. So when Mahaprabhu delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he showed greater mercy than he showed in delivering Jagai and Madai. But even more mercy he showed to Prakashananda Saraswati in Kashi. Because Prakashananda Saraswati, not only a Mayavadi, but he was a staunch offender of Vaishnavas. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had soft corner for Mahaprabhu. When Mahaprabhu fainted before Jagannath, he arranged for him to be brought safely to his house. And then later on he arranged for, to the king's agency, arranged Kashi Mishra's house, Gambira for Mahaprabhu. And used to do Prasad Seva for Mahaprabhu. So in this way, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was not an offender, he was a Mayavadi. But Mahaprabhu delivered it. But even Prakashananda Saraswati was a staunch offender. He used to criticize the Vaishnava philosophy. Even he was also delivered by Mahaprabhu. That was the greatest mercy. So, Jivera Uddhar Lagi Sutra Kela Vas, Mayavadi Bhashya Sunile Hai Sarvanash. Means for delivering the living entities, very brief aphorisms, sutras were written by Vyasadeva called Vedanta Sutra. But if you study the Shankaracharya's commentary on those Vedanta Sutra, Mayavadi commentary, Sharik Bhashya, you will be totally ruined. So that's why we should not listen to this Mayavad commentary of any Vedanta Sutra. Don't listen to Yoga Vasishtha. Yoga Vasishtha is also one type of Mayavadi scripture. and don't try to listen to that. One time, Tukaram Maharaj was a great devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Vitthal in Maharashtra. One person came to him and said, I want to recite Yoga Vasishtha before you. Tukaram could not say no, but he didn't want to listen to Yoga Vasishtha. He said, okay, you can recite. He brought cotton balls and put them in his ears. He covered his head with a blanket and loudly calling Haribol, 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 Ram Krishna Hari, Ram Krishna Hari, Ram Krishna Hari. He heard his Yoga Vasishtha recitation, but he didn't let even a single word enter his ears. Because Tukaram was scared that this particular misleading knowledge that I am one with Brahma, Jiva Brahma Ekya Gyan, there is no difference between soul and the super soul, then this type of misleading knowledge will completely demolish my and destroy my bhakti. Understand? So Gurudev used to say that if you find any Tripundradhari, these three parallel lines. What is these three parallel lines? The parallel lines means you will never meet Krishna. Just like the two railway tracks never meet each other. Two overhead lines never meet each other. Two overhead electric lines never meet each other. So those who put Tripunda Tilak, or they can never and never meet Bhagavan. But in Urdhva Tilak, you can see that one line is Vishnu, one is Lakshmi or Radha and Krishna, and they are meeting in Vrindavan. Tulsi leaf is at the bottom. So, Mayavadam Asas Shastram Prachannam Buddham Uchyate. Maiva Vihitam Devi Kalo Brahmana Murtina. In Kali Yuga, Shankaracharya preached this Mayavad, but this Mayavad Shastra is very dangerous. So, those who are atheists, actually, Buddhists are little better because they simply reject the existence of God altogether. Mayavadis are more dangerous because they are actually covered Buddhists. So they are very, very difficult to identify them. But Mayavadi is the most dangerous philosophy. So Mahaprabhu delivered them also. Hypocrites also developed. False logicians and also the adherents of the path of fruitive action. He all delivered them. So Prabhupada Saraswati Padri in Chaitanya Caritamtra has written another verse. Priya Saktan Digdik Vikatata Baso Dhikcha Yaminaha Digastu Brahmaham Badana Paripullan Jadamatin Kimetan Shochamo Visharasamatta Nadavashun Na Keshachit Aho Gara Madhuna Na Keshachit Pragata Madhuna Gaura Madhuna. That is telling that Kriya Saktan Dhik. Why on those who are believe in the fruitive action, fruitive activities. Like one time Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj was doing Bhiksha in Sundarban. And there was a big flood in Sundarban. So Jyoti Basu, the General Secretary of Communist Party of India, was doing he was surveying that area, that how much the flood has caused the damage. And that time Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj came face to face with Jyoti Babu. So Jyoti Babu asked him, who are you? Then Param Gurudev told that we are sannyasis from Gaudiya Math and we are collecting some rice for the Navadip Parikrama, because many pilgrims will come for Navadip Parikrama in the month of March, in Falgun Mas, and we must try to give them some prasadam. So we are collecting rice. So Jyoti Babu said, are you not ashamed? Why you are collecting from people the rice, although they are stricken by flood, you should try to instead give them food and distribute rice among them. And instead you are taking rice from them. Then Param Gurudev told Jyoti Babu that where is the flood? There is no flood. If there was the flood, then at least the cigarette in your hand would have extinguished by that flood. Jyoti Babu was a chain smoker. He used to smoke a cigarette after cigarette after cigarette. So Param Gurudev was telling that no flood is there. If the real flood, then your cigarette would have been extinguished. But at the time of cosmic annihilation, there will be torrential rain for 100 years continually. That time, all the three planetary systems will be drowned. Bhur, Bhuva, Swa, Swargaloka. That time, if anyone has given little rice for the service of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so that Vishnu Priya and Sachi Mata can cook for Mahaprabhu leisure, and distribution of that prasad, then they will never have to experience this cosmic flood at the time of cosmic inundation. Understand? So Jyoti Babu was inquired, and he told Jyoti Babu that Jyoti Babu, you are advocating karma, fruitive activities, but there were greater adherents of fruitive activities like Ravan, Hiranyakashipu. What happened to them? They all are dead. Understand? So you should know one thing, that if you are a devotee, then you are doing a great, great favor. You can see that Ravan had 1 lakh sons, 100,000 sons. And then he had even more grandsons. 1.25, 1.25 lakh grandsons he had. Such big family Ravan had. And in Lanka there were so many demons. But in the entire Lanka there was only one devotee, that is Vibhishan. And because Vibhishan was devotee, Ram was maintaining entire Lanka. Every Lanka resident was getting food, ornaments, gold, diamonds, nice silk clothes, everything was provided by Lord Ram. Why? Because only Vibhishan was devotee. If in the entire city or even in the entire country, even if one devotee is there, then that whole country will be maintained due to the presence of that pure devotee. Understand? It is very, very, but when Ravan kicked out Vibhishan, then only the Ravan's fall down happened. Understand? As long as he had not kicked away, Vibhishan had not driven him away from the kingdom, until then, no problem was there for Ravan and entire Lanka. Bhagavan was maintaining entire Lanka. Understand? So, Srila Gurudev once went to meet his father, and his father actually told him that you are remain in householder life and serve us, your mother and father, myself and your mother and your family, and try to do like this. But Gurudev said, no, there's only one problem in the village. I cannot get any sadhu sangha. That's why I want to go back to the mud. But then the villagers told Gurudev that you are not serving your mother and father. How will you be delivered? It is the duty of the son to serve the mother and father. Then Gurudev said that the type of service I am rendering to them, no son will be able to render. Because if even one person in the family does bhakti, like Vibhishan, then the entire family, mother, father, grandfather, grandmother, grandson, son, grandson, nephew, cousins, maternal cousins, paternal cousins, all millions and millions of the entire country is delivered, entire world is delivered by the presence of a pure devotee. So what I am doing for my mother and father, no son or no daughter will ever do that. That is what Gurudev's reply was that. So you should have full conviction that Yasmin Tushte Jagat Tushte. Krishna is happy, the whole world is happy. Yatha Tarur Mula Nishechanena Trupenti Tatskanda Bhujopashaka Pranopahara Chathendriyanam Sarva Haranam Evam Achyuteja. If you put the food in the mouth, then your ears, nose, eyes, eyebrows, feet, hands, legs, heart, chest, lungs, kidney, liver, all organs will be nourished. So like that, if you satisfy Krishna, then automatically all the demigods, forefathers, all the living entities, sages, they all will be satisfied. Krishna should be satisfied. So don't try to put water on the trunks or the branches or sub-branches or the leaves, shoots, birds and flowers of the tree. Just put water at the root and it will nourish all the limbs of the tree, all the branches of the tree, automatically. So Krishna should be satisfied. We should do everything for the satisfaction of Krishna. So here, in alcohol-addicted, carnivorous, atheistic, materialistic nations, thousands and thousands of men and women and young boys and girls with tulsi beads around their necks and divine tilak upon their foreheads are with both hands raised, being carried by the waves of Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. This indeed is all the directly perceivable result of the Matrika in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. So yes, Gurudev is telling that people were alcohol addicted. Alcohol addicted. Now this is actually the greatest addiction which is going on in the modern days. When I was in the United States, I used to see that how people used to take so many racks and racks of cans, big containers. They used to carry a beer and this is wine and whiskey and rum and everything, vodka, and they used to get too intoxicated. Top of that, marijuana and whatnot, LSD and so many type of intoxicant birds and whatnot they were taking. So means the entire America on weekend was stoned, as they say, So bad condition actually, so bad condition. Now that the same thing is happening in India, so many states like Punjab and all. Recently in Maharashtra is the state of Gnaneshwar Maharaj, Tukaram Maharaj, Namdev, Eknath Maharaj, Pandharpur, Vithal's temple is there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has visited Maharashtra. It's a land of great sadhus, saints, Vaishnavas, devotees of Krishna. But there the government decided that they want to sell the wine through retail outlets, grocery shops, supermarkets, free access to the wine because they thought that the farmers, they are producing so many grapes. These grapes are vested. So if they can make wine from it, farmer can get some extra buck. But there are many sadhus and Vaishnavas, they are rightfully opposing this move of the government. They say that these supermarkets are frequented by housewives, children, devout persons. And if they see this wine, they may become addicted to it. They will easily purchase. Now there is at least some shame because no woman would go to the liquor shop. But if they are sold in grocery shop, this woman would start drinking wine. Understand? It will affect their anatomy, their uterus, and so many problems may come. Understand? Addiction is very bad. So Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Maharaj and our Guru Maharaj, they used to tell that no intoxication. One of the regulatory principles is no intoxication. So this move is highly opposed by many righteous persons and spiritual persons. Understand? And rightfully so, because we should not encourage sale of the liquor. Understand? Although it's a very lucrative proposal because it brings great revenue for the state, but there are many other ways of bringing revenue, not just selling of liquor or alcoholic drinks. Alcoholic drinks is not the only way to increase the revenue. Understand? There are so many other ways which are not as hazardous. So you can see that atheistic persons, atheistic means Gnostic, they don't believe in the existence of God. Materialistic nations, most of the nations, they are materialist actually. Eastern countries, they are more spiritual in nature. Like in India also you see, the eastern part of India like Bengal, Odisha, Bihar, they are more devout. And the western part of India like Maharashtra, Gujarat, you will see more materialism there. So any country, the eastern part is always more devout than the western country. That is actually general. Sometimes some westerners are maybe more devoted. But you see, west is meant for sense gratification and east is meant for spiritual pursuit. That is generally I have seen. In America also I have seen that people on the east coast, like New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, they are actually more pious than the west coast, like California and all, because the weather is so good on the west coast in America that people are not that good. But on the east coast, the weather is so challenging, so life-threatening that people are so nice by nature because they are naturally humble because of bad weather. Understand? So we are actually, the people are searching for happiness. They are going to the United States for money. They are trying to, one Gujarati family, they were trying to cross the Canadian border and they were, they died in the effort. It was so cold out there actually. So actually we should not worry about going to United States, Canada or any country just for the sake of, money. Actually, wherever you are, Krishna will arrange little bit rice, dal, chapati, sabji for you. There was one Baba, he was actually used to carry little one iron pot. And he used to collect some rickshaw, some dry chapati. He used to collect one glass of water, iron pot. He used to bring the water from Jamuna and he used to dip the chapati, dry chapati in that, and he used to eat that. Whole life he never took any sour, sweet, pungent, hot, or any spices, pickles, dalcha, anything, nothing. Sweet rice, nothing he took. Whole life, most of his life, he was only happy by eating some dry chapatis and soaking them in water and eating them. Understand? So Bhakti Gaurav Ekhanand Goswami Maharaj also, when he went to the mart, they were giving him that hard, unpolished rice. So he couldn't digest that. So he was eating some biscuits, so soaking them in water and drinking those biscuit drink. So, and he was sleeping underneath a tree. Although he was from a Brahmin family, he was a royal priest of the king of Badgad in Odisha. But Bhakti Gaurav Ekhanand Goswami Maharaj, proper disciple, he was sleeping underneath a jackfruit tree. He used to collect the dry leaves of the jackfruit and used to make a bed of that and used to sleep on that. And used to eat simply some biscuits soaked in water. Understand? So, that type of renunciation the devotees develop when they develop bhakti. This is a natural outcome of bhakti. We should not try to be artificially renounced. Bhakti, when bhakti will manifest, and automatically knowledge and vairagya will come. Bhakti pareshanubhava viraktir annatra chaisha trikata kala prapadya manasya thashtatrasyur tushti pushtik shudha payana dhasam. That when you take some food, a morsel of food, you eat, automatically your hunger is subsided. Slowly, with every morsel, hunger is subsided. Also, if every morsel of food will bring you some taste, some relish, some happiness, understand? And also every morsel of food will also make you stronger. Shakti will, potency will come in your body. So dissipation of hunger, taste, relish, and also strengthening of the body. All these three effects come with every morsel of the food. So like that, when you engage in bhakti, automatically knowledge, renunciation, and some realization of the spiritual truth, Bhagavad realization, the realization of Bhagwan's name, form, qualities and pastimes will automatically come when you engage in devotional service. Automatically come. There is no need to worry about it. So knowledge and renunciation, they are actually the side effects of bhakti. Understand? We should have some renunciation, but even if you don't have, slowly it will come. So, all these boys and girls you can see all over the world now, they are tulsi beads they are wearing around their necks, they're putting their tilak, and they're chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. So this is the Mahaprabhu's mercy. So presenting himself as utterly insignificant and worthless, the revered author at the end of this invocation verse is praying for Srimad Mahaprabhu's causeless mercy. Duran me marushakhinopi sarasi bhavaya bhuyat. May the unbridled cloud bank of great sweetness, Mahamadhurya Kadambini, the form of the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even far away make my heart, even from far away make my heart, which is like a dry tree in the arid desert, flow with rasa. Understand? So basically, what is growing in the desert? Cacti, only cactus means the thorny bushes, and some trees like some desert have like the date tree. Understand? Date tree, which is very very tall actually. So, what is the chance that sweet juicy fruit will come on in these trees? But Mahaprabhu's mercy is so great that Vishwanath Thakur, out of his humility, is calling himself a tree in a desert. I am like a dry tree in the desert. And Mahaprabhu's mercy is compared to the great cloud bank. So in the desert, like Saharan desert or the desert in Rajasthan or Las Vegas, the desert. There are so many deserts actually. So these deserts, actually, what is the chance that rain will fall? Very rarely there is rain there. But anyways, Mahaprabhu is so merciful that he showers the rain even in the desert. So in the middle of nowhere, we see that in say South Africa or say America, Hawaii, New York, these places are very materialistic places, or Perth or say America, in Australia you see Sydney and all these materialistic places. But in middle of these places also Gurudev went. Gurudev went, Sripad Dandi Maharaj went, Sri Guru Gobind Maharaj went. These pure devotees are going across the length and breadth of this whole earth planet to give association. Actually, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw Gurudev in America. I said, I was not able to get Guru in India, but now I came to America and Gurudev comes searching for me. That's why it is said that this disciple can never search for Guru, but Guru will search the disciple. He will, when Krishna's heart will melt, he will send a very high class Guru automatically to a disciple. This is the mercy of Krishna. Understand? So the pure devotees who are preaching all over the world, they are actually giving that mercy. They are giving that mercy. So here, during a downpour in the monsoon season, heavy clouds blanket the earth and shower torrents of rain upon earth. In the desert, however, this kind of rainfall does not occur. Only a tiny vestige of clouds barely drizzles once in a while, and even then in the distance. So, due to his mood of utter lowliness, Srila Vishwanath Thakur thought of himself as a dry, withered tree in the desert soil, very far from the cloud bank of Shivan Mahaprabhu's mercy. Hence his prayers, O immensely influential Madhurya Kadambini, you are the embodiment of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Even though you are situated a great distance away, even though I am a dry-hearted, dull-hearted, and extremely worthless soul, still I beseech you to infuse this withered soul with Bhakti Rasa, Shri Krishna's Madhur Ras, and saturate it. So humility and love of Godhead, these are synonymous. The more the dainya, more the humility, more the prema, more the love of God. And more the prema in the heart, then more humility will come. So, humility increases when love in the heart increases. And love in the heart increases when humility increases. So, means the love you have for Krishna is directly proportional to the humility you have. And the humility you have is also directly proportional to the love you have. So, both are interdependent. Understand? And they are synonymous. Understand? They are synonymous. So if you see great humility, you must understand the presence of love for Godhead in the heart of that devotee. And when you perceive the love of Godhead, you should also understand that that devotee must be very, very humble. So Vishwanath Thakur is most humble personality. Actually, he is the eternal Manjari of Radharani. But see what humility is showing, that I am just like a dry tree in the desert. Understand? There may be great torrential rain and flood may come. Understand? But not in the desert. In the desert, how much rain may fall? That rain is absorbed by the sand and it actually simply vaporizes. The sand is sometimes so hot, it simply vaporizes. That's why Vidyapati, once is a great devotee whose poetry Mahaprabhu used to relish in Gambhira. Tatale Saikato Bari Bindu Sama Sutta Nita Ramani Samaji. He said once that, alas, I had beautiful wife, children, grandchildren, all relatives. But what is that? Those relatives, just like a big desert is there, hot sand is there, and if you put one drop of water in that sand, immediately from that sand, one drop of water will evaporate. So if you put only one drop of water in the hot sand in Sahara Desert, what will happen? In a moment, due to the hot sand, burning sand, that water drop will evaporate. So like that, all our relatives, bank balance, our wealth, all will vanish in a moment. Like Lata Mangeshkar ji. She had a melodious voice, but yesterday she gave up her body. Understand? She had many diamond necklace, gold jewelry, so much wealth, so many beautiful real estate, everything, and so many, royalties from so many songs she sang, multi-millionaire. But when she left, she could not take even one hair with herself. Understand? So that is the nature, my tribute to her. She was a great personality actually, a very great Nightingale of India. Maybe she's a fallen Gandharva or Apsara from the heavenly planet. That's why her voice was so beautiful. It was heavenly. Gandharva-like voice. So anyways, but what I'm saying is that when we go from this world, we cannot take anything with us, not even black hair or white hair. Not only Lata Mangeshkar or Dhirubhai Ambani or, no one we are going to take anything from this world. What will come with us is all the charity we are given, book distribution we have done, Ekadashi we have followed, Harikatha we have heard. That will only help us. So don't sleep too much. Don't sleep too much. A lot of people, they sleep too much. They sleep like 8 o'clock in the night, they get up 8 o'clock. And then some people are so sleepy that they, even while walking, they are sleeping. When Baba used to go for Govardhan Parikrama, he used to keep his one hand on the shoulder of another man, and as he's walking, he's sleeping. The entire Parikrama is doing only sleeping. Means if that person will take off his hand from the shoulder, he will fall down. Understand? Some people are sleeping in the toilet, some are sleeping even underneath the water. They are from the tap, the water is falling on their head. In the shower also they sleep. Some people are slow sleeping. Understand? So sleep is the younger sister of death. No. So try to take less food in the night. Get up early in the morning. Understand? Especially in Harikatha also sleep. Because all your cameras are off. I don't know how many of you are awake or sleeping. Understand? But anyways, I hope all of you are awake. Vancha kalpataruvesya kripa sindhuvecha paritanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. So tomorrow is like fast, till 12 o'clock. And then you can take Ekadashi Prasadam, like fruit, potatoes, rock salt, and milk, jaggery. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Any questions you can ask me. Hare Krishna, Tarun Krishna Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for a lovely class, Maharaj.
Jai Guru, Hare Krishna, Dandavat, Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, we in South Africa kept fast today, Maharaj.
Pardon?
We kept fast today.
You kept today? Okay. Because
Yeah.
you follow the pure bhakti calendar. You follow the pure bhakti calendar, I think. Yeah. But Maharaj told me, I called Dandi Maharaj, then he said tomorrow. He told for us tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then we must keep tomorrow again, Maharaj.
Yeah, you can if you want. No harm actually.
Okay.
Because what Maharaj gave me the calculation that yesterday was Vasanta Panchami. So today was Shashti and then tomorrow Saptami. So 5th day, 6th day and 7th day. So tomorrow is actually Ratha Saptami or Advaita Saptami. Understand? Some devotees in ISKCON, they do not fast on Shivratri. They give a logic that Advaita Acharya from Mahavishnu and Sadashiv. So we are fasting on Advaita Saptami, so we can also fast on why we should fast on Mahashivratri. But Gurudev said no. Mahashivratri we must do because Lord Shiva is also pure Vaishnava. Understand? So that's why Advaita Saptami tomorrow, Maharaj told me that tomorrow, I checked with also calendar from the Vishuddha Chaitanya Vani, the Bhakti-Vidanta Bharati Maharaj Sangh also. Also Chaitanya Gaudiya Math calendar I checked. Chaitanya Saraswat Gaudiya Math, Bhakti Shakshidhar Maharaj Math I checked. All are fasting tomorrow actually, on 8th. So that's why Maharaj also agreed that we should fast tomorrow. So that's why tomorrow will be our fasting. Understand? Because either way, sometimes there is a difference of opinion in different calendars. But tomorrow we are fasting in India. I checked in Rup Sanatan also. They are also doing tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thanks, Maharaj. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Dandavats.
Dandavats.